Hello, everyone. Welcome to the demo session on generative AI and agentic AI. So this is the first demo session where we are trying to understand the basics of generative AI. What I'll do today is we will do a quick 1 hour overview on the concepts of generative AI, how LLMs work and what LLMs do. Most of my sessions will be practical sessions. So without wasting a lot of time, we will jump directly into the code concepts, executing an application, creating an application. So that's how my sessions will be. So I would like you guys to just listen to today's session. If you have any questions, please use the chat window, put them in the chat window. I'll provide you an ability to speak and then ask you questions at the later point of the day. So without any further ado, let us start our demo today. So first things first, I would like to, of course, there's a lot of things happening. The FIFA World Cup is happening in US. So you see the Google logo here. But the thing which we'll be concentrating is on a couple of libraries. The first library which I would like to talk about is called as Olama. So I can say Olama download. When I write Olama download, it will show me options. There is Olama for Windows, there is Olama for Mac OS. Let me click on the Olama on Windows. Currently, I'm running this demo on a Windows machine, but if you're on a Mac machine, you can switch to Mac OS. Now, what is Olama? Olama is a library which will help us to uh, connect to one of the open source large language models, which are backbone of generative AI applications. Like our ChatGPT, you will have a backbone model, the OpenAI models, OpenAI suite of models, OpenAI GPT. Current model is around 5.5, 5.6, I guess. So those models will be used for returning your answers. Similarly, there are a lot of open source models. Open source models, sometimes they can host on your own local machines, and then you can use them for doing small tasks. For larger tasks, which requires a lot of reasoning and other things, you could use closed source models, the models from Anthropic, the models from Google, the models from OpenAI. You could use any of these models, which will give you a lot of reasoning. But if at all your application is small enough, you could use one of the open source models and you will be able to do a lot of work with them. So today, as an example, I would like to show how to use one of those open source models, and this will be a practical exercise. So within no time, we will be able to understand how do you run these open source models. So first things first, you go to olama.com and you see this particular page. I go to the downloads of the olama.com. You can click on downloads page. You will see an option pertaining to your OS. So you could download the Mac OS or Windows or Linux, depending upon your OS platform. I am on Mac OS. Sorry, I am on Windows. So I will be downloading. Could you speak a little louder? Is my voice clear or
It's
is
clear only, but getting somewhat little bit lower.
okay? Is it better now?
Yeah, somewhat better.
Let me check just a second. Yeah, it is connected to the correct microphone. But let me talk a little louder. So what I was talking is we will be downloading. First thing, you have to go and download your Olama for your Windows or Mac OS. I am not downloading it because it is already available on my machine, but this is the first step. Now, once we click on the download for Windows, it will download the executable of Olama in your downloads folder. And then you follow the regular installation procedure, and that will install Olama on your machine. This is the first step. Once you have done that, you could just open a command line prompt and type Olama. Once you do that, then you would see some of the commands showing up, which will confirm that the Olama is installed on your machine. If once you download that, install that software on your machine. If you are doing it on Windows, you double click on the executable and then it will open up a widget of installation and it will complete the installation. If you are on Mac OS, you can just drop that Olama in your applications folder and that will install the library on your Mac OS. So once we do that, you can open your command line prompt or terminal and then do Olama. You should be able to see this information, which means that your Olama is installed on your machine. The other way you can confirm is on the right side of your Mac, on your right side of your Windows, you would see a small little icon in the notification widget. If you're on Mac, on the top, you will see a small little icon. So this is the icon of Olama. You will see a small little llama icon, which will be showing on your Mac. It will be on the top right corner. If you're on Windows, it will be the bottom right corner. Now, both will tell that your Llama is installed and running on your machine. So this is the first step. Once you're done with that, then I can run some of the models from the Olama, from the terminal itself. Now, what are the models? If I click on the models page, there are a lot of models available. Now, if I click on this models page, if you see this GLM 5.2 is the latest model they released. I think 3 days back they released this. This is the largest open source model. This is beating the closed source model also. So it's a flagship model, which is an open source, but we can't host this model on our machine because it's a very heavy model. I will be showing you smaller models, which are lightweight, small language models, which we can host it on our machine. So if I go down, you could see a lot of these models available, Minimax M3, Kimi 2.7, and so on and so forth. So if I come down, there are a lot of these models. Gemma 4 is one of the model, which is the latest open source model from Google. This was updated 6 days ago. And then if I can scroll down, these are all the different types of models which are available. Now, if you see the model name looks like this, Gamma 4 colon E2B, that is the name of the model. And the size of the model is 7.2 GB and the context size is 128 kilobytes and it is capable of doing text and image processing. Now, if I can decode it, what does this mean is if I download this model and run the model on my local, I need at least 7 GB of memory space, minimum 7 GB plus the memory required for running your regular OS related stuff and so on. So if you have a 16 GB machine, then comfortably you can run this model, 7.2 GB model. If you have an 8 GB machine, you will not be able to run this because your OS will require some space. At least you need a 16 GB machine for running this particular model. There are smaller models also. I could show you a smaller models also, which can fit even in a 4 GB machine, but I'll show you in a later point. So this is the name of the model, which is a E2B model, and it is a 7.2 GB. And coming to the context size, what is context size? Context is nothing but the amount of information you can give to the input of your large language model. To this model, you could give like 128 character length token, which can go into the model and come from the model. And that basically is called as the context window. The larger the context window, the better the model, because you will be able to feed a lot of information. When you're continuously integrating with the models, now the largest models are also having 1 million context size. The Google models are having 1 million context size, the closed source ones, and you will be able to do a lot of interactions with those models. Even if you are familiar with the latest Claude code, when you are interacting with one of these Claude models, which are Opus and Sonnet and the other ones, they have 1 million context size. So they will be able to do a lot of interactions with those models. Smaller ones will have smaller context window, but they are good enough to do smaller invocations and transactions. So this is how the model will look like. So if you look at these models, the smaller one is this 7.1 GB one and 128 K context size and text and image. Okay, we also have 6.8 GB also. So these are the smaller ones and they can be used. Let me show you one other model. If I go to Gamma 3, which is a little older version, Gamma 4 is the latest one. Gamma 3 is a one level down. If I show this, you could see these are smaller models. There is a Gamma 3 270 million parameters model, which only takes 292 MB, smaller one. Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model, it takes 815 megabytes. The context windows are smaller. If you see, there's only 32K, but they can use these can be used for smaller tasks. The default one, which is the 4 billion parameter latest model, the size is around 3.3 GB. So if you have an 8 GB machine, you will be able to comfortably run this particular model on your machine. What I'll do is I'll run this model, the Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. I have already downloaded that model on my local, and then I'll be using this model. Now, how do I run this? You could just use this command olama run and give the model name. Olama run and the model name is Gamma 3 colon 1B. I can click on this copy button. I can go to the command line. Let me clear it off. And then I say olama run and the model name is Gamma 3 colon 1 billion. So when I hit enter, what it does is it invokes the transaction in the backend and loads the Gamma 3 model. And within a second, if you see, it is ready for accepting your inputs. Now, what is this doing is it is running a chat GPT like an interface from your local machine. And I will be able to ask questions. I can say, who are you? Then it will be able to respond saying that I am Gemma, a large language model created by the Gemma team at Google DeepMind. I am an open weights model, which means I am widely available for use. I can also ask questions like, what can you do? Right. Then it is responding that I can answer your questions, I can translate language, summarize text, and a lot of other things, engage in conversations and so on. I'm a versatile tool for processing and generating text. So what we are doing is we spend like 5 minutes and we quickly understood about there are local models, and then these models can be used for invocations. And then I quickly rolled out the Gamma 1 billion parameter model, Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. I am able to do interactions with this model. Now this is okay, but can I programmatically invoke? So it's not fun where you are trying to run it on your command line. It's not very accessible. You will not be able to do a lot of things. Is there a way where I can programmatically do this coding, right? So now we are switching gears. We are getting into the next stage where I will be invoking the model using program. The program I will be writing is Python. So let me quickly load the Python. Use the environment. Just give me a second. Environment is not resolving. Just give me a second. Apologies, there was a blip in the internet. Let me share my screen again. All right. So what I was showing is previously we saw the command line way of interacting with the LLM or the small language model, and we are able to ask some questions. It was able to respond. The next thing is I will programmatically invoke that model. Now, for programmatically invoking this model, you will need some libraries. The first one is you will need a library which will help to write your output in a proper format. So we'll be using a Markdown library and a display library. We will be using the OLAMA library, which can invoke the LLM and use the LLM for calling and getting your response. And the third one is a library called as Gradio, which is helping us to create a small little UI. So within half an hour, what I'll be doing is I'll be able to show you quickly like how I can create a simple connection to Olama, can create a little chatbot so that we can do a lot of interactions with it. First things first, I'll be using, there are a couple of models which I have, the Llama model, DeepSeek model, Llama 3.2, other ones, but I'll be using the Gemma 3 1 billion parameter model, which I quickly showed. The same model will be running. I have initialized it to the variable model. And when we are talking to the LLM, we need to provide two informations. Whenever we are chatting with ChatGPT or Claude or any other kind of such kind of an interface, what we do is we just send something called as user prompt. Whatever we are asking, we can ask question to ChatGPT that analyze this PDF, summarize this email or something like that. That is nothing but a user prompt. We are asking a question. But when we are programmatically invoking the model, we need to provide two prompts. The first one is the system prompt. You will here we are saying that you are a helpful AI assistant. But generally, the system prompt is nothing but it will set all the rules and the guidelines for the model. You will clearly provide all the rules and guidelines for the model, and then you give a nice little detail of the system prompt. The user prompt is your user question. Here I'm saying I wish to travel to USA. Can you create a nice travel plan? So let me quickly run this. While it is running, I can then explain what the code is. So here the user prompt is I'm saying I wish to travel to USA, create a nice travel plan for the duration of 2 weeks. Make sure I visit all the popular places in US. Now there's FIFA World Cup happening, and definitely I would like to visit US and then go to one of the favorite players and the matches. I wish to come to US, and then that's where I asked to create a nice travel plan for 2 weeks. Now, how do I invoke this is using this Olama's chat function. So olama.chat, and then I need to pass two informations. First one, what model I am trying to invoke, which is the Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. And the second parameter is the messages parameter. Now, this is a standard open AI format in which you feed the messages to the LLM. The messages will have multiple sections. First one, you are saying it is a system prompt, and the information you're providing in the content is the system prompt. The second way is you're saying it is the user, and the user information will be the user prompt. You need to provide the role and the content. Role will be telling either it is system, user, human, and otherwise. And then you could provide the corresponding content, the system prompt and the user prompt. These are two mandatory informations which we need to send. So when you provide the model and the messages to the Olama's chat function, it will invoke the model and you get the response. Now, response will have multiple subsections. Within response, there will be something like message. Within the message, there will be something like content, and that will have your response, and that I am displaying in the markdown output. Now, what is the markdown output? Here you see I've already executed this. It took 23 seconds. I don't want you guys to wait. So I executed this. It took 23 seconds, and here is the response. You're seeing the response here. You're saying, let us craft a fantastic 2 week travel plan to USA. And then it is trying to make a balanced theme. So if you are seeing here, this is like bold characters, and then there are bullets and so on. This is called as a markdown script. It basically it will have hashes and asterisk symbols and so on. When you really look at the code, it will have this all asterisks and hashes and so on. But when you look at the document, it looks like a nicely formatted document. So output response is in a markdown format that I am feeding it to the markdown so that it can nicely show you all the details. So transportation is there, budget is there, and nice, all that information is shown here. Here it's creating a plan. First, it is taking to the New York City, then Washington, D.C., then Southern Cham. It's taking to Nashville, Memphis, and then taking to Los Angeles and San Francisco, right? So these are the places it is taking. I wanted to check whether it is taking to Las Vegas. Doesn't look like that, but never mind. It is covering most of the places, but not it doesn't you can't cover US in 2 weeks, right? So you have to take a lot of time. But for the 2 weeks vacation, I think it is covering pretty much a lot of details, a lot of places it is covering, right? So if any of your city is covered, then ping on the chat saying that you are from whatever, Washington DC, or Charlotte, North Carolina, or Memphis, or Florida, whatever, right? So you could you could let me know if your city is covered. Now, what we have done is we spent around 30 minutes, and what we did is we are able to invoke the LLM. We understood about Olama library. We understood how the small language models look like. We looked at the gamma model. We invoked that from our command line prompt, and we have written a small little program which can talk to the LLM programmatically, right? Are you guys following? Any questions? If you guys are following, you're getting value, can you respond saying that yes, following or something like that, great, or can I get some feedback? Or I get a yes or so on. If you have any questions also, please put that in the chat window, guys. I will be able to answer them as and when necessary. Okay, let us switch one more gear. So what we have done so far is looked at uh, the models, the open source models. We saw the Olama library, which will help me to invoke that models. We also saw command line prompt and a little program. But let us create a UI for doing this work. So I'll create a small function. This is a shout function, a very simple function. What it will do is it will take the text, whatever you're providing, and then convert into uppercase. That's what it will do. So, and I call the shout function, give a small hello, it will convert into capital hello. So whatever you give, it will convert into capital letters. Now, why I'm creating this shout function is that if I create a function that can be invoked from a Gradio library called as Gradio interface. So now what is Gradio? It is an ability to create UI for us. So I want to talk to the LLM via a UI. So for that, I'll be creating a small little interface. Now the interface will be Gradio.interface. You need to provide a function. Here we are calling a shout function, which will have input and output. Input is a text box, output is also a text box. And when I say .launch, this will launch the Gradio interface. Now, when I click on this particular link, it will open a library like this. And then you see this is how the UI would look like. I'll say wonderful, because this is simply wonderful, right? So with a small little command, one little line, I am able to create a very beautiful, simple, beautiful UI, and I can invoke this. So I'm giving small wonderful, and that is converted into capital wonderful, right? So small letters are converted into capital letters. But there is no fun in, converting small case to uppercase, but we want to invoke a real model. Now for that, let me scroll down. So for that, what we will do is we will create a little message GPT. Now, previously, I directly invoked the Olama chat function. Now, what I will do is I will wrap this function in a message GPT function. Are you understanding? So we are just changing this and wrapping it part of a function called as message GPT, where user will provide a user prompt in input that will be going to the messages section user prompt, and whatever response is coming out, I will return as a part of this function. So it's just like taking input and sending the output. And the Gradio function, Gradio interface function, we will call the message GPT. And for inputs, I'm saying that I'll create a text box which will have input 6 lines, and outputs is also a text box which will have 8 lines. This is how it will look. And then once I say .launch, it will launch a UI. This is the second UI using the Gradio app. It takes a second to load. So it has loaded, and if you see, this is nice little boxes are created. This is the input box and this is the output box. Now here I can talk to the LLM. Now this is not the shout function. This is the message GPT function. Now what is the message GPT function? It is calling the LLM in the backend, and it can give us the response. I will say can you write a Python program for adding two numbers? So I'm just asking to write a Python program for adding two numbers. On the right side, it is processing. As you see, it might take 10 to 15 seconds to write the answer. All right, so it took around 12 seconds or so on. And if you see, it has written the program. And this is how the program looks like. And you see, it is also giving the definition. As you are seeing this asterisk, asterisk and all, these are markdown script. The output is responding in the markdown script. But my output response window is a text box. That's the reason it is showing in the information in the text box. I would like to pause a minute here. I wanted to see if you guys are following along. If you have any questions, please let me know. So what we have done so far here is we are calling the Olama function, and then I wrapped it in the message GPT. Whatever question I am asking, right? The question I am asking here will go to the Olama user prompt, and that gets invoked by the Olama chat function. You will get a response. Response will be responded in the response. Now, how are we taking the question? In the message GPT will be the function. Input is going to the text box, which is 6 lines. Output is coming in the text box, and it is 8 lines. Right? So here is a question that all these examples are Python based. Is there a Java based questions also? Pretty much these new libraries, right? Java also we could do, but most of the code is done using Python. The reason is Python's new libraries adoption, the acceptance and the user community has grown enormously over the past few years. All the LLMs and models are basically written in Python, and that's the reason the acceptance of the language is much higher. But when you look at the code, if you are already a Java experienced, learning Python is a very, very simple skill. It's a very easy way of learning this particular language. The ability to understand the language will be much lesser, and somebody who is already having a Java experience, it will be very easy. If you look at the code, this is not very complex, right? This is you're calling a gr.interface, the interface function. You're calling the function name message GPT, and you are able to interact with these models. Now let us switch the gears. One thing we have seen is that it is taking a lot of time for the model, correct? It was taking like 10, 12 seconds, sometimes 20 seconds also. So what I wanted is I don't want to wait. I want instantaneous results. So I'll say that I'll give a system prompt. You are a helpful AI assistant that responds in Markdown. So this is a system prompt. And I will do small changes to the message GPT function. The first change is I will give a parameter called as stream is equals to true. What is the stream parameter? I want the response to be streaming in real time. Like I talk in ChatGPT, instantaneously I'll be getting the response, right? After a few seconds, you'll be getting the response quickly. That is because it is streaming the response. Whatever information it got, that will be streamed directly, and that stream response is possible. For that, I need to make stream is equals to true. When I say stream is equals to true, the output will no longer be a one single response, but it will come in something called as chunks. So you have to take whenever the chunk is coming, you iterate through the chunk, and as and when a new chunk comes, that you push to the output. And for a user, it appears that it is coming in a real time. Understood? So we have to make two changes. First change is stream is equals to true. And because the streaming is true, the output response will no longer be a one single time. It will be coming in the chunks. So you have to iterate through the chunk. You write a for loop, you iterate through the response chunk, and then whenever the chunk is coming, you yield the result. Now this is a small little Python snippet for yielding the output whenever it is coming as a chunk. So this I will run and this is an updated function. This is called as stream GPT. Now for the stream GPT, you will also do a small little update. Input, you will be giving text box, but output, what you'll do is you will give the markdown. When you give the markdown, the output response will also be in the markdown. So let me run the function. If you see, it is running in a new server. I'll open it. It takes a second. So this is the input text box. Output, here it will come, and here it is not showing a text box because it is not a text box. It is a free flow markdown script. Now, what I can ask the same question. Maybe I'll ask the same question. Can you write the Python program? I can ask a lot of questions, but let me ask this question first. And when I click and stop, you can see it is writing in the Markdown script. Markdown will also show you the code-based snippet. If you see, this is a code-based snippet, and that's the reason it is showing in a coding prompt. If you can come down, it will give you an explanation. There is a bold characters, there is a bullet points, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and is also giving the explanation about what are the different functions. It has written a function called as add numbers and so on. Got it? Now, what I say is, let me copy this code. I will do something here itself. I have this Python code, Would you convert this into Java equivalent? So what I'm doing is I am telling that I have this Python code. Could you convert it to Java equivalent code? And I paste this Python code, right? This is the entire Python code. And what it will do is it should convert me into a Java code. And if you guys are having Java expertise, could you just look at the code if it is writing correctly? Add two numbers. And if you see, it is writing the Java code, and it is also giving the explanations about what the code is doing. It is saying save this as numberadder.java, and this is how you have to run the compile code. Are you getting it? So it is writing codes. So all this thing is running on my local. Now I can ask a lot of other things like, let me change this up. I'll say, what is an LLM? So it's giving me a instantaneous answer. On the right side, LLM stands for large language model, and it is giving me all the information about the model. Now, what I'll do is let me quickly give you one more important thing. So when I say launch, view.launch and share is equals to true, within the Gradio, there is an option of sharing is equals to true. Then it will create a live Gradio URL. Now this live Gradio URL, if I go and click this, it will launch a live URL of the same model which it is running. So this is the live URL. I'll paste this URL and I want you guys to click on that and check if you guys are able to view the URL or not. And if you have any questions, you can ask some questions like, what is the capital of USA? I'm just asking some question. What is the capital of USA? On the right side, you should see that the capital of USA is Washington, D.C. It's officially known as District of Columbia, right? Can you guys click on the URL and then see if you are able to launch this? If yes, say a yes and ask some question also. Anyone tried it?
Yes, we are able to open the URL and giving some.
You were able to ask the question, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm sure everyone will be able to do it. If you can try it, that will be great. So what I'm showing here is it is able to launch the URL. And if you do a bombarding of a lot of questions, it will be slowing down because it is running over the internet, and it might slow down a little bit. But it will respond if it will respond in few minutes, few seconds, and so on. And what I'm able to do is I can quickly create a application. Now, what is this capable of doing is it can do a lot of things. It can summarize some information. Maybe I can go to Wikipedia, and I was searching this morning on I'm not sure you know this person. This person is called as Singitam Srinivas Rao. He is as I can just take all the information. So I'm from Hyderabad, so I'm thinking that I'll go and watch a movie today. That there's a movie called as Sing Geetam. It looks it's very good. But I was doing the research on this person this morning just before this class. A very, very popular person. But let us know. Imagine you don't know about this person. Uh, and let us say, can you summarize this information in one paragraph? Okay. And then I just paste this. Submit. On the right side, it's working. So Srinivas Rao is a versatile Indian film director, screen producer, composer, and a lot of things. Of course, I said one paragraph, but it is really giving a lot of information. He is the one who was an assistant to KV Reddy. He was a very, very famous uh, Tollywood director. He has created a lot of phenomenal movies. But Mr. Srinivas Rao is also a very popular director, and recently he's around 94 years, and it's great, great inspiration to see people who are doing great work to the society by doing phenomenal efforts beyond their age, right? So I'm so young, so it gives me a lot of inspiration. So I hope I'll see this movie today, but nevertheless, I was just trying to show you the capability of the model, right? It can do a lot of these things. I was asking, I gave a lot of big Wikipedia page and I asked it to condense into a paragraph, and then it did condense into a paragraph, and it also took a little key takeaways, right? Do you want to try anything else? Any ideas? If you have any ideas, you can let me know. I will try on this particular model. One thing which I wanted to show you is I go to Amazon.com. I wanted to do something called as, so I go to Amazon.com and let me quickly see some product. Maybe what should I take? Maybe this particular shoe. Right. There is this Rockport Leather men's style leader apron. I don't know. This one, Nike Men's Revolution. Okay, let me take this running shoes. Okay. So this running shoe looks to be like $75. Looks to be like $75. So what I'll do is I will just copy this description. Coming back, this one. Um, can you tell me the price of, okay? What I'm saying, can you tell me the price of Nike's Men's Revolution 8 road running shoes? That's what I'm asking. Come on. Okay, it is able to respond. First thing, if you are checking, it says, let's find out the price of Nike's Men Revolution 8 running shoes as of today, November 2nd, 2023. One great observation, right? It is saying as of today, which is November 2nd, 2023. What is today? It is as of my today, it is 20th June 2026. As of my today, it is 20th June 2026, which is something different, right? I think this is different. And what this tells is this is called as knowledge cutoff date. That means that most of these large language models will be trained on a specific date, till specific date. So if you ask any latest information, if you ask like what is the FIFA World Cup current matches today, then it will not be able to tell because it is only trained till this particular point. Now, if I give some information and ask it to format, process, summarize, do some in transaction or get some question answer from the content, it will be able to do all that work without any problem. But if I want the latest information, then it will not be able to fetch. But it did its own fair share of prediction. It is giving $149 to $179. That's what it is telling. And it is also telling us like where can I get the shoes from Nike.com, Foot Locker, and other places. And it is also giving us the links of that particular brands. Now, if at all, I can give some product which is in around 2023, that particular product is around 2023, and it will be able to correctly predict. Now, here it is not doing a very, very wrong prediction also, while it is couple of 50, 50 to $60 difference is there, but it is not predicting $2,000, right? So it is giving us very good result. Let me go back, try something else. Inspired by the browsing history. Or not sure why I checked. Hard drives. Now, this is a crucial thing, right? So let us check this hard drive. Hard drives prices have increased since 2024 because of the semiconductor surge. Hard drive prices have increased, but let me see what will it say. And you tell me the price of this particular SanDisk 1 terabyte portable SSD. And then I'm asking to do the prediction. All right, so it is giving us the prediction. The price is around $79 to $99. What is the price? $179. Little offbeat because it's not able to get the 1 terabyte version of it, but it is able to give us some other things. If I go click on this link, not sure if it is able to give us the link. This is a Gen 2 model. This is an older one. This is a Gen 2. Okay, Gen 2. Yeah, so that link is not there. So no longer that product is there, the older one. So it is giving as of the November 2023. Got it? So likewise, I could do a lot of things. I can write programs, I can write poems, I can do a lot of stuff with these small language models. And we have spent around 50 minutes now. And in the 50 minutes, what we did is we were able to connect to the Olama model. We were able to run that on your command line prompt. Then we were able to execute using a program and then creating a little UI and then testing it, all that within 1 hour. Understood? I would like to stop for a minute. If you guys have any questions, please put the questions on the chat window, or you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. So this is the first demo in which we have completely taken a different route rather than me talking about what is generative AI, what is the history of generative AI, how things changed. I could have taken that session, but what I wanted to do is within the time we spend, if I spend 1 hour, within that 1 hour, we will should be able to maximize the value of that 1 hour, right? So even for me and for you also. So our course will be like that. So let me talk about our course. I'll show you the curriculum. Just give me a second. I quickly show you the curriculum. It's an extensive curriculum, guys. This is well thorough researched curriculum. Give me a second. I'm filling it. So this is the curriculum. So we will be spending almost like a 50 hours for this course. And if you can scroll down, it will talk about why we have to do this course, because currently it is changing at a rapid pace. You see, uh, just a second. This is not updated one. Let me show you the updated one. So this is the course. We will talk about why this course. It's a very comprehensive field right now. There's a lot of statistics about why we need to do this particular course. And then if I come down, who this is for, so anybody, software engineers, solution architect, data engineers, QA automation experts, cloud and DevOps people, engineering managers, all of them can do this course because this is essential. We need to get upskilled in AI. We need to know how we can use AI for our good. And what will we be able to do? We'll be using a lot of frameworks. Today, within 1 hour, we were able to do quicker things. We understood about generative AI applications, building our own local applications within a 1 hour course. We will be covering around 50 hours of course, close to 2 months. It will be a little over 2 months. You will be working on all of these. We will be working on LangChain, LangGraph, Crue, other SDKs. We will be using Google ADK, then we'll be using Agno, low code, no code tools like NA10. We will be covering model context protocol, agent to agent platform frameworks. We will do agentic coding using Cloud Code and understand how to build the applications and deploy the applications into production with monitoring and the human in the loop concepts. This will be the core structure divided into four major sections. First, we will be doing the generative AI foundations. We'll be understanding RAG, fine tuning, and other stuff. And then the second section will get into the agentic AI. We understand agent design patterns, MCPs, and memory and context engineering. Then in the third section is where you will be doing the production and enterprise agentic frameworks. We will do the evaluation, security, and deployment patterns. This will be the three core structures. We'll also be doing a end-to-end capstone project, which will help you to also pitch for your interviews. Every section will be a real-time project. So we'll be doing a hands-on. You could complain saying that, Sitaram, this is all hands-on. I need some time. I need some effort and all that stuff. And then I will say that please put that effort. Please take out time. from your busy schedule, this is a time for ramping up, guys. And the world is moving at a very rapid pace. We are seeing that in the next 6 months to 1 year, the trajectory in which the software development will happen will change. We will be getting into a era where we have to work along with agents. So if you are if you are somebody who is early in the career, then I would say you need to spend a lot of time on understanding how do we create these agents, how do we work with these agents. If you are in the later part of the career, maybe I would say that you need to understand that how do we manage people and agents together, and how do we know the implications with respect to cost, usage, productionization, orchestration of the agents, and so on. So those are the greater skills we need to capture in this particular market. And we will be learning in our course how to build a project from scratch using your agentic coding techniques. I will be telling you different techniques in which, without spending a lot of money, you will be able to build projects on your own, even if you do not know a single line of code. I keep getting these questions from people that, Sitaram, I don't know Python, I don't know so and so language. How do I cope up with it? I will say that in the future, we are not going to learn syntaxes. We are not going to learn language. We're going to live with agents. We will do vibe coding. We will do something called as vibe engineering, which is little beyond the vibe coding. And using that, we will be doing applications. We need to understand basics through doing, on the job training, what we call. While we are building applications, we should learn all those techniques, and the future is going to be that way, right? We will not have a lot of comfort on getting couple of months for learning a particular language, then getting expert in that syntaxes and doing programs. Gone are those days. So if you are kind of thinking that you have to learn this, you need to get yourself up and running. So these are the different sections in which the courses are woven. There are like close to 14 sections, modules I would create. These are the different module-based projects. Every module will have a project. So we'll create an insurance product knowledge base using RAG, intelligent document processing for insurance claims, meeting minutes and actions items generator, code and test case generator, stock market research and analysis agent, AI travel planner, MCP integration hub, customer support desk, and agent with persistent memory. We'll be using a conversational data analyst, which will do a text to SQL conversion. We'll be doing a hands-on agentic coding using Claude Code, which we can do an AI-driven SDLC lifecycle kind of a thing. So every section will be having project, and if you see, this is how the detailed information about what we'll be covering from the first section. So today's was like basic, right? Very, very basic. We were trying to execute all the things, but eventually I'll be talking about what is a token, what is an embedding, how do you do attention mechanism for building the models. Then I'll go into detail about the landscapes like Claude, Gemini, Llama, Mistral, and other models. We have seen a little bit of them. We have seen Mistral, DeepSeek, Qwen-based models in our in the Ollama website, but we will see a lot of them in the course. And every section will have a hands-on lab. All the materials will be provided to you. Every section, every module will have an industry use case so that you could practice the industry use cases. And what I would seriously recommend is, if at all you have any use cases, then you can come up with that use cases, and then we can solve them in the course, and then it will become much more interactive and much more real time. Second module is all about prompt engineering. How do you manage LLMs and structured outputs? This will cover for a couple of hours. And then we'll get into embeddings, vector databases, retrieval augmented generation for creating your own enterprise knowledge bases. So how do you do that? All that stuff will be learned here. And there will be a project associated with it. And then after that, we'll be getting into different open source models. How do you do fine tuning of the open source models? When do you decide buy versus build kind of a decision? Can I use a local model, create an application so I can save on the cost? I can do all that work from my local models, or should I go and buy a closed source model? Should I invest money on OpenAI, or should I invest money on Anthropic suite of models? So here we will be learning all that stuff. There is a project associated with it. And then if you come down, like the next section is like building and shaping your first generative AI applications. You have very thorough applications where we'll talk about Cloud Code, Cursor, GitHub Copilot, and how do you do programs with that. This is where the application development will be done. And then you could get into agentic AI. We understand from generative AI to creating agents. We understand about different agent patterns. How do you create the perceive, plan, and act based loop of agents? Create different design patterns for agents, and how do you build agent from scratch using Python? That's what we will be learning here. And there is a project example for that. And then there are different agent frameworks we'll be covering. We'll be doing LangGraph, CrewAI, OpenAI agents, SDK, Agno, and Autogen, and Google ADK. These are the different frameworks we'll be using, and there are examples on that. Couple of projects we'll be doing there. Then agent interoperability using MCPs and agent-to-agent frameworks. These protocols will be learned. What is an MCP? How do you create an MCP server? How do we invoke third-party MCP servers? All those things will be learned in this particular section. Here is a use case using CrewAI and MCP integration. Then we'll get into the agent memory and context engineering. This is very essential because we need to understand what is the information we are giving to the agent. How do you optimize that context so that you can reduce cost to the agents? How do you maintain memory and memory-based retrievals so that you could do caching and you could save a lot of money on sending to and fro prompts? All those things will be learned here. And there is a project for that. So this is a very, very comprehensive document, guys. So production and enterprise engineering we will be learning, where you will be learning how to create enterprise data agents. Here is an example of creating text to SQL agents. I'll show you an example of how to do that end to end. Evaluation and observability, we'll talk about how do you measure the correctness of the agents, how to create golden data sets, how do you evaluate the models, create a rack specific metrics, how do you do tracing and observability and production quality monitoring. All those things can be learned in this particular section. We will also talk about safety, security, and responsible AI. How do you identify the top 10 OS security principles? How do you do guardrails engineering? Ensure the least privilege agents? How do you create a responsible AI and governance agents according to different standards and frameworks? Those will be understood because this is very essential. All the interviews, they will be asking about these kind of things, very practical things, rather than telling how do you create an agent. We have learned that within today's class. I showed you like how do you create a simple LLM. Within 1 hour, you will be able to learn all that stuff. What we really need to know is how do you productionize these systems in the real world? Interviewers will going to ask these things. They'll ask about how do you do red teaming of your agents, right? What is red teaming? Why do you need to do red teaming and all that stuff? In the last, we will be learning deployments, and not many people, I can bet on this, will talk about deployment and scaling. How do you do agent ops? Not anyone in real time are talking about it. We will learn about all these frameworks. How do you do on-prem deployments using Fast API and Docker containers? How do you do cloud deployment either using Azure AI Foundry or Vertex AI Agent Engine? So these will tell about cloud-based deployments also, which will help you to deploy the project into production. And last but not the least, we'll also use the agentic coding platforms. You'll use Cursor, Copilot, Cloud Code, and create end-to-end projects. You'll also be looking at low-code, no-code agents, Copilots, and the other low-code, no-code frameworks for creating agents. So it's a comprehensive document. I will request the organizers to provide you information about the document. They'll be sharing the curriculum with you. Go through it. If you have any questions, you could let me know. In the end, we will be doing a capstone project. This will be very, very real time, guys, and it will provide you a holistic understanding of creating real agents. And that's the focus area. All right. So we have spent 1 hour, and within 1 hour, we are able to learn a lot of things.
Hi, Sitaram. What will be the duration
Yes.
for this one? And is
It
there
is a
any
2 month course.
Okay. What will be the system requirements for this one to install? Do we need to install any apps?
If you have an 8 GB machine, comfortably, you will be able to run most of my um, examples, whatever I'm
Exam.
trying to
Oh,
provide.
okay. Mhm.
Either Mac or Windows, both of them will work.
Okay. And suppose if we are not having any background of programming skills also, is it uh, fine for
That
us?
that is okay. But as I'm saying, as we spend 2 months from
Okay.
now, so if say July and August, entire July and August will be spending. The course will complete end of August or early September. Okay.
Okay.
So from now till September, the person who is today and the person who is in September will be completely different.
Mhm.
And that person, I am requesting that they should spend extra time. If they're not familiar with Python, so you have to spend at least 2 to 3 hours additional in a week so that they can practice these programs and all that stuff. So I'll be giving all the material, lot of uh, code learning material will be there. So I only request is that they have to spend time on the weekends and
Okay.
do that extra practice,
Mhm.
right? So that is the only request. And I have seen people, it's not just people from IT background, people who are not from IT background, from finance background, from business analyst background. They have not done any coding, but they are able to pick up because now the coding is not a mandatory thing. It's just like analytical understanding is required. Like what is it doing? What we need to do? How I can tweak it? This understanding will only come when we do practice.
Oh, good.
So that is a requirement, guys. So if you think that Sitaram, I don't have time 2 to 3 hours extra on my weekends, please don't do this course. Okay. So because it is a requirement that we need to spend time, effort, and give that additional time. So how will be the course done? Every week, weekly, there will be 5 days from my Monday to Friday. Okay. So let me open up. Generally, I'll take a little five more minutes. Is it okay? I know that it's a very
Yes, it's fine.
late night for you, but please bear with me. So I generally use this kind of a blue board for doing interactive writing. It's like a blackboard in our school. So what I'm talking is it will be 2 month course, 2 month plus course. Okay. And every day, 1 hour. A course will be from starting from July 1st. And then generally the course will happen from Monday to Friday, uh, 7 a.m. IST. Now, if you are in US, you have to make the time adjustment. It will be my Monday to Friday. If the US will be Sunday night to Thursday night. Generally, I think it is 9:30 p.m. EST. Correct me if I'm wrong, 7 a.m. IST should be around 9:30 p.m. EST. Okay. If you're in US, if you're in Eastern time zone, let me know. And then every day there will be code materials. The materials will be stored in the drive. So you'll get code and videos will be provided. So every day recording will happen. All the code and the videos will be available in the drive for you guys to practice. And this access will be available for lifetime. Anything else? So apart from this, you need to spend 3+ hours on your weekends. Right? So you have to spend 3+ hours on your weekends. Can you guys move on now? Thank you. So you have to spend 3+ hours on the weekends. That means that this particular section, our course will have 5 hours weekly, right? Plus on the weekends, you have to spend 3+ hours because there will be assignments and then projects will be there. Module-wise projects will be there. So you have to spend some time, doing the projects again and again and trying your own projects, identifying your own use cases and so on. So this is a quite essential activity. Course will be in the Python basic. So basic understanding of Python is good, but if you're not familiar with Python, if you know any other programming language, if you know any other programming language like Java, .NET, JavaScript, any other language is good enough. If you are knowing any other programming language, it is a decent enough for you to understand Python. It is not very tough, guys. All right. Any other things which I missed?
Yes, Ram, I have some questions. Is that fine
Yes.
to ask?
Yeah,
Ram,
please.
my name is Saina. So, what I've been observing, like the GENAI, like only thing is like, say, until or unless, I mean, like, for example, the person who is entering very newly, for example, some basic understanding of Python, okay, but in the background, if at all he doesn't know, like, how he can learn. See, anyway, like he is learning, I mean, like the GENAI is supposed to learn GENAI, right? So, for example, I know SQL, but someone doesn't know the SQL and other stuff and all. So, end of the day,
Hmm.
he has to define a framework using that tech stack, right? See, for example, let's say like I am getting the data from the various sources and ingest the data into some database like Snowflake kind of thing. Then on top of that, I need to generate the reports after making necessary transformations. No? Okay, so
Hmm.
at least like this understanding, like how the person who is entering very newly, how he can get actually. I mean, because he doesn't know about the transformation, he doesn't know about the some data warehouse or database. Okay, so how
Hmm.
that will help for him actually.
Yeah, so domain is something which is completely different, and domain and integrations, these are two different things which we need to have an understanding. So imagine somebody already knows like how do you do data transformation, how does the Snowflake works. Now, instead of me manually writing the scripts, me manually creating that integrations, me manually creating the transformations,
Mhm.
we can use GenAI and the agents to automate it. So what we will be learning in this course is how to do that work. Because
Mhm.
the scope of IT industry is very vast, right? Somebody is doing ERP, somebody is doing Oracle, somebody is doing database administrator, somebody is doing, infrastructure management, and then they are doing testing, they're doing mainframes, legacy programming, a lot of things. So domain as an expertise is much wider. We will not be able to teach that particular stuff because it's a much wider, it's not part of the course. What we are trying to understand is, imagine some domain information is already there. How do I identify where I can automate, how I can cut cost, how I can speed the operations, how I reduce the manual toil, all those things using generative AI and agentic AI. That is what we are going to learn in this particular course.
Yeah, and other thing is, Ram, like for example, let's say you have invested, some kind of, what I would say, some time to generate your models or whatever. For example, so once, while testing, like you have got so many concerns. So again, like since it is not storing anything, right? So again, you are trying to give the after modifying your context or text to again you are giving the prompting to your agent, right? Okay. So like this, if you are doing multiple times, there is also like a lot of cost, right? So are we definitely like look out the cost as well?
Yes, absolutely. That is the important stuff right now.
Okay.
In our course, we will be teaching like how do we optimize the cost and
Okay.
how do you make the models
Mhm.
and what are the different techniques to optimize the cost and do the cost.
That means
If you
like we
remember,
need
I
to be,
was
yeah. So like again before the optimization itself, so we need to make sure that like what is our actual the requirement that we need to be more clear, right?
ex- correct. That
Okay.
is something we need to
Okay.
do.
For example, let's say like I have generated some AI code. Okay. So can I, for example, can I go and like edit the code? Some say changes are required. Will that be possible or how it is?
Yeah, we can do it. We can edit the code and we'll be able to make the changes to that.
No issues, right? I mean to say, because and also the code is like more into kind of Python and other more stuff, right? But again, like if we are changing the code also, we are not sure, right, where we are going to change and all, how it is going to impact for the existing code and all, right?
That also we'll be learning, like how do
Mm-hmm.
you use agents to identify the right places, do the right code changes and all that stuff. Those
Mm-hmm.
are also part of the course.
And one last question, Rama, if you don't mind. And the other thing is like nowadays people are saying this is become very costlier and background person not like technically not growing, but somehow is like fulfilling the like company needs or requirements. Okay, this case, what do you say? I mean,
Now it is costly because people are just playing it like a toy,
correct.
but it is eventually people will realize that you have to maintain it like a real professional project. We need to understand what we are trying to do, how much it will cost, why is it taking that cost, what is the optimal way of doing it. All that stuff has to be learned and executed. So if I just use it like a chat GPT, then in the background, you do not know what calls it is doing, what models it is talking about, and what other functions it is doing. So we need to
Mhm.
learn the right way of executing it, right?
And by the
That
way,
is
like
what we are going to
market,
learn in
yeah,
this
yeah,
particular.
that would be fine. And by the way, like how would be the like market, like how the openings are, like if you do you have any idea on it, like
There are a lot of openings, but I will recommend. Uh, so as a part of this exercise, right,
Mhm.
in this couple of hours, there will be one assignment. Would you mind going to mute, please?
Yeah, yeah.
Background is coming. So, what I will recommend here is, as a part of this exercise, we will need to do assignments on your particular area because you might be working in a specific area where you have to identify what are the different job roles. I will talk about job roles, what job roles are being provided, and all that stuff that I will talk about. But we need to identify, whether they are asking for AI engineers or forward deployment engineers or data scientists, senior AI scientists, and so on. So all that kind of different roles are there.
Okay.
We need to identify within the your location. Maybe you might be in Charlotte, North Carolina, or you might be in Atlanta, you might be in some Florida or New Jersey. So you need to identify within that particular boundary areas, what are the companies, what type of JDs are being rolled out,
No, I
how
mean, like
much
I
they
am
are
from
offering.
India, Bangalore only. I would say.
Okay, if you are in India, Bangalore, then you have to identify within India, Bangalore or Hyderabad, or these are the two major locations where we have a lot of assignments.
No, I mean to
In
say
that,
like openings. I mean like in Bangalore or like Hyderabad. Like I mean openings are like now sufficient openings or how it is. I mean.
yes, 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 there are a lot of openings. Again, depends upon the years of experience and so on, right? So those all things matter. But there are quite a number of openings. If you open any of the company website, you see the AI engineer roles. Again, combination roles like data engineer, AI engineer roles. Those are the ones which are being offered.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, like I was like asking, right? So because of this costly and all, like the resources are very costly. Like people are again still, they are not going move ahead for this GenAI and all. Like, what do you say on this like, comments? I mean, from your end, because
No, no, they are not using the tool correctly. That is the reason.
okay,
Not
okay,
This is not like the benefit of the algorithm is not there. It's like very highly beneficial, but they
okay,
are not using it rightly. That's the reason people are spending more money now. But
okay.
eventually that will be optimized.
And going forward, this costlier become. I mean, like the compute cost and become will come down, right? Obviously, like other resources, how we are utilizing, right? Like cloud and all, right? Initially, it was cloud is very costly. Then it has become come down. Similarly, this will also will become like this. Ram?
Yes, it will come down.
Okay, so that people, all companies or customers can utilize more effectively, right?
Correct.
Okay, okay. Thanks.
All right. Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Probably. I'm sorry we have extended a little bit, but I hope you are getting some value out of it. Any other questions?
This basic programming is required Python or how is that, sir?
For understanding in the course, you need to have Python basic, right? Basics of
Mhm.
Python. Even if you do not know, also during the course you'll be learning along. You'll get comfortable by the end of this course. But I would recommend you to spend a little more time over weekends to learn Python, the way it is written, and all that stuff. Anything Python related to AI, I will be teaching it because throughout the course we will be doing that work. So you will be understanding that. But if you say like, Sitaram, I don't know any programming language, I don't have any clue of it, then I'll recommend some courses where you could do it over your free time, which will help you to know the basics of Python. Like how do you write functions, how do you write classes, methods, and so on. So those things you'll be able to learn by your own.
Okay. So ML and uh, related to AI totally is covered, right? Machine learning and everything.
Uh, I'm trying to take a holistic approach in this one. Eventually we used to have ML and basics of machine learning and other things. Nowadays, the trend has completely changed towards generative AI and agentic AI, and more of requirements are coming in that areas. Even interviews are coming in those areas only. So I've kind of shifted the focus from core machine learning to more on agentic AI. We're covering more on that part. So in this course, we will be doing that. Machine learning we will not be covering in detail.
Hi,
Okay.
Sita. Once we complete this course, actually, I'm working on .NET. I have some knowledge on C Sharp. What career transition I can, focus on once I complete this course?
There is one role called as AI engineer role. That is a suitable role for anybody coming from a programming background, whether it is Java or .NET or related things. What I would recommend is we'll not completely shovel away the previous experience. We'll try to identify that how we know AI agents or AI tooling, and then embed that part of our learning experience. Maybe kind of blending the existing .NET experience and using it for automating using AI agents. And that is what will be the focus area, so that we'll not completely leave away your .NET experience and completely come to AI part. That is how I would recommend. But eventually, once you get more expertise in the AI side of it using Python and all, then you could completely get into that area.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? You've spent 1.5 hours, guys. Thank you very much. I know that if you are in US, this is 19th or what is it? There is some holiday, right? So it's a long weekend, I suppose. Juneteenth or something, correct? If you're in US, this is a holiday, but I appreciate that you guys are spending time for this. And if you're serious, please come and attend my other demos where I'll be talking about agentic AI and these things in detail so that you can practice it. And eventually the course is going to start from July, another 10 days from now, where we will be covering a lot of details in great detail. And last but not the least, before I sign off, my name is Sitaram and I have close to 21 years of experience. I am from Hyderabad and I work in a large banking corporation as a senior leader. I lead the AI/ML group there. From an educational background, I have done my master's from BITS Pilani, and then I'm doing my double doctorate, one from IIIT Hyderabad and second one is from Rushford Business School, Switzerland. This is my educational qualifications. I'm a senior leader and I represent a lot of leadership forums in India and abroad. I'm passionate technologist and I'm also a passionate teacher. And because of my doctorate, I also keep a lot of interest in learning new technology, experimenting and doing a lot of stuff. So this is a win-win situation for me. And that's the reason I'm also teaching and it's my passion. If you guys continue with me, you'll know more details about me in great detail. That's a little bit introduction about myself. All right. Thank you very much. And I'll talk to you again some other time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.